There you go, yep. Don't step any further than this though, Druid, because if you step beyond this first set of tiles, it's going to start the raid. Okay, can everybody dismiss their cosmetic pets as well? They just tend to get in the way in here. Can you hear me okay, Druid? Mostly yes. Okay, so here's how this raid works. When we step forward, the Abbot, which you can see he's on his on the hand of his own statue up there, he's going to come down in the center and we're going to beat him down. When we beat him down to about 70%, he's going to disappear. And then 3 D doors are going to appear across from the platform from us. One's going to be in the middle, one's going to be off to the left, and one's going to be off to the right. There are 3 puzzles that have to be completed in order to finish the raid. And the puzzles are behind those D doors, but their locations are random. It's the same 3 puzzles every raid, but their locations change. So we're going to send spotters into the left door and to the right door, and they'll tell us what's behind those doors, and by process of elimination we'll know what's behind the middle door. Okay, and you're going to go into the door that's called out as roids, which is short for asteroids. And all you're going to do, you're going to appear on like a circular platform hovering in space. And you're just going to type /sleep, okay? And that way the people that are doing the puzzle, you won't get in their way if you're /sleeping. It's very important that you do not go AFK. If you get hit by an asteroid, it can make you stand up. And you need to hit /sleep again so that you stay out of their way. And it's like a 3-dimensional version of the old Atari game Asteroids, but you'll see when you're in there. After the puzzle's over, and that puzzle only takes a couple minutes, a portal is going to appear. Do not click on that portal because that's going to bring you back here. And we don't want to come back in here until all puzzles have been completed. Does that make sense? Okay. Do you have any questions? So here are the jobs. I'm going to read them off. Goggles is going to be Azalea and Zentarius. Roids is going to be Kamalia, Edhits, Bimpala, and Shirati. Ice is going to be Anaximus. Spotting left, Hakuna. Spotting right, Valindra. And then everyone else will /sleep in Roids. Any questions? Once we finish the puzzles, I'll explain how the second part of the raid works. Let's do it. When it's time for spotters to get ready and go, I want everybody off mic except for spotters, please. If you're going into roids, make sure that you're fully healed before going into roids. If you need help with that, please call it out. Wow, really? Thank you. That was ridiculous. I wasn't even paying attention to my own health. Spotters, get ready. Valindra is left. Hakuna, I'm sorry. Hakuna is left, Valindra is right.
Someone pass heal my way, please.
Spotters in place, please. Hakuna left, Valindra right. Spotters go. Hakuna left, Valindra right. Left is ice. Wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait. Right is... that was a bad call. Hold on, folks. Okay. Call it out again, guys. What doors? What's behind there? Left is ice. It's really important you include the direction.
Royd Center. People need to get in here.
Royd center, right goggles. It's okay, Valindra. Hopefully everybody... Did anybody not go into the right door?
I think we're good.
Cool. That was a bumpy start, but we got in the right doors, so all good. Okay, I think it's...
Can somebody share the question?
I think it's gonna be row 2. That was outstanding, Ed. Thank you. So right now, what I'm looking at, I'm trying to lead, if you've never done goggles before, I'm trying to lead those guys across to the end, and you can see that these goggles are phasing in and out, and what allows me to see them are these goggles that I picked up from when I first zoned in. You have to wear those to be able to see. And the blue tiles are static. They don't phase in and out. So we got some blues to work with, which is nice. Sometimes there aren't any, so I've seen as many as 12 and a half, so it's just random. And you don't have to move them from blue to blue, but they're there to help. So if you have some blues, you want to look at those rows first, wherever they're in. And it looks like in row 2 I can get them to the first blue pretty easily. And so the way that you can sort of tell is you just want to focus on that row and see if there's a path that, if you imagine yourself out there, like I'm imagining I'm out there right now, and I can easily run across in time before these phase out. Row 2. Get your loc, let me know when you're ready. So what he's doing right now is he's getting his location by typing /LOC, and he wants to be facing due south, so that when he's strafing, when he's sidestepping, he will stay perfectly within the row that he is in. He won't drift forward or backwards. Okay, don't move. The first blue is 5 tiles out. When I tell you to, you're just going to run all the way to me, okay? Get ready. Go 5. Nice work. Okay, Valindra, are you ready?
Yep.
I want everybody off mic except for gogglers. Go 5 now, Valindra. Great. Stay right there, please. Don't move. So now I'm going to focus on row 2 to see if I can get him to that next blue safely. If not, then I'll have to move him around between rows. So I can go there. And to the next one safely. This is going to be tight. That one's just phasing out, so that means this one's probably going to be phasing out when that one phases in. Okay, no, we had some time. And so the pattern I'm going to give him is going to be go 1, then pause, then 1, then pause, which will put him right there. Now we're waiting for that one to phase in. So it's 1, 1, and then 2 to the blue. And that's how I'm going to write this in, so that they know what to expect. And this time, it's going to be 1, 1, 2. This time, we're going to do the mirror method. Before it was like a modified version of the mirror method, where I just went to the spot they needed to move to, and then they came over to me, which is a great way to do it if it's a one shot. It was a straight movement to the blue. In this case, it's not a straight move. There are pauses, so I'm going to move with them. You're going to be mirroring me. Let me know when you're ready. Centaurus only, get ready. Go 1. Go 1. Next one just phased out, get ready. You lagged a little bit there. Go 2.
Yep.
Okay, stay right there, please. For what it's worth, you never want to have your guys stop on this dark border, because there's a bug. Like, even if he had a pixel of his toe, on that border, like right there. That one could be fully phased in, and if he moved onto it, he'd fall right through it. So you always want to make sure you start him like in this lighter center area. And it's best to just keep him centered, because if you have to move between rows, then it's important that they know where they are in the starting tile. 1, 1, 2. You ready, Val? Go 1. Go 1. Next one just phased out. Get ready. Go 2. And Val just learned this last week with us. Val, how many times have you done this? You just learned it with us last week, didn't you? Or you did it once before?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. So he's already gotten pretty good at following instructions. It doesn't take much to become really good at goggles. It's a lot easier being led across, but you sort of need to master that before you can lead people across. And this is really just an exercise in giving clear instructions and following those instructions perfectly. If there's any ambiguity, that's very bad. Good job, roids and goggles. I mean, roids and ice. Alright, don't move, guys. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it works by keeping them in this row.
What is wrong with you tonight?
Oh, it's because when I'm doing a video, I get distracted, and it's harder for me to focus on what I'm supposed to be doing in the quest. And so I often say and do stupid shit.
So you're normal.
Like die in the first part during the beatdown because I'm not paying attention to my health.
That's pretty glorious.
Jesus. Okay, so we're going to be able to stay in row 2. Let me get the pattern for you. Stay right there. So it was 1, then 1. It's just 1s to the end. 1, then end. Okay. So we write it in like that so he knows the dashes means pause. 1, 1, 1, end. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. We'll let him cycle. Zentarius only. Go 1. Go 1. Go 1. Next one just phased out. It's the half tile. Get ready. Go to the end. You too, bro. Alright, Val, you ready?
Yep.
Cool. Just phased out. Get ready. Go 1. Go 1. Go 1. Go to the end. Good job, dude. So now, you want to make sure you take your goggles off, because otherwise you go back in the center, you won't be able to see anything. Although, incidentally, you can actually see the invisible mobs that he summons, the ones that you can normally not see. With the goggles on, you can see them, but it's the only thing you can see. You can't see the altar, you can't see the other players, you can't see the Abbot. So you go in there and you're like, well, where is everybody? It's like a Twilight Zone Abbot. You gotta take your goggles off. So now, Zentarius is going to lead me across to this side, so I can't see this, but he's got a set of goggles that he gets upstairs that allows him to see it, so he needs to do what I just did for them. And so I'm going to show you here how you can tell which row that you're in. So this right here, this crack between these tiles that I'm moving on, this is row 2. And then row 1 is like right in front of this tile right here, right before this V-shaped wedge that's cut out. That's row 1. This is row 2. And then this next crack, this is row 3. And these aren't perfectly centered, but they're close enough. And these are the markers that generally people use. And then row 4, it's this V-shaped wedge that's cut out. And this is solid, you won't fall through there, but if you keep going further, you will fall off the back. But you want to be at the beginning of the V-shaped wedge like this. Now sometimes you're going to need to be able to move between rows, and you sort of need to commit to memory that distance between rows. And so one good way to do that is when you're in here, run between these two cracks. And for me, I do like a 2 count. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3 backwards. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So when we're out there in the blackness, we don't have these good markers. So you need to somehow just commit that distance to memory. So if you ever need to move between rows, you can get close enough. You don't have to be exact. You know, like if you were out there and you only moved that far, that would be okay. That would be close enough. You know, and then the next time you get on a blue, your spotter, the person with the goggles, would straighten you up. Now you want to get your loc. You're going to type /LOC. And this time we want our location to be our H number. You can see there's a whole string of numbers there. And the H number is the last number. And I was actually perfect. But just to show you again here, the H number is 16.9. And that's the only number we care about. And that H number is like a circle, like 360 degrees. It tells you which way you're facing. And so you want your H number to be 0, and when it's 0, it is non-existent. It will not say H0, it just will not be there. You can see now there's not an H number. I'm ready when you are, bud. So you want...
Yeah, Ginger, I've only got 2 blues to work with, and it's not an easy puzzle.
Okay, no problem, bud. Take your time.
I can give you the first, anyway. It's just over to the blue where I'm standing. And you're in row 3.
Alright, I'm ready. Row 2.
Your other row 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was the starting row?
Row 3.
Okay, that's where I was. Then I thought you said row 2. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, this is a bad run for you, yeah, buddy.
It's the video.
Yeah, I know.
Try not to drop me on video. If you do, Syax is going to get booted from the guild. Can't afford to make exceptions.
As always.
Everybody off mic except for gogglers, please.
Tell me what to do. And you want to cycle out? Cycle out, get ready. Come over to the blue. So that's it. Let's skip to the left. Step forward. Perfect, right in the middle, so you are. Just gotta work out the pattern to your next and only blue.
So what I like to do here is just watch the person doing that has the goggles, and then I just notice they lined up with him, you know, when he tells me to. But alternatively, some people like to just use the mini map and just look at your arrow here and make sure that your arrow is lined up with his dot, and you can click on his dot so you don't get confused between who's who. But you should, if there's anybody else over there, you shouldn't have them running around. They need to be at one end or the other. Otherwise it can get confusing who you're supposed to follow. But some people just like to line up the dots and watch it this way. I like to actually look at the person, but when you're in row 1, you have to look up so steeply, and they have to just be kissing the glass, so it's really hard to see them. So when I'm in row 1, I use the mini map. Also, you can see with this Shadow Dragon scale armor, it's really hard to see them, but he's got that party hat on. So, but if you're struggling with seeing the goggler, you can ask them to like put blur or displacement on, or fire shield. The red version works really well, not the blue version, because you can see it's like the barrier's blue, so blue version doesn't help that much. Hey, can you put the red fire shield on? Oh, that looks nice too. A little better.
Is that better?
Yeah. But just for purposes of the video, can you do the fire shield? Maybe even like a blur or displace?
You're never on my ranger, right?
Oh shit. No, dude, I'm not used to that tune, not being a wizard yet. But that's fine, dude. Oh, cool, you were able to do it. Awesome.
Pass rolls.
So you can see it's a lot easier to see him now. He's lit up like Christmas than when he's wearing the black.
Yeah, Kathy told me really well. And she's a ranger herself.
You can also have the person just take their armor off. When they're naked, they are a lot easier to see up there. I actually did a goggles training video like a few months ago with Centaurus. He's one of my primary gogglers. He's a really good goggler, and he's got a really deep voice. He's got like that smooth jazz DJ voice, and we did this whole wonderful video. It narrated, here's how to do goggles, but his voice is so deep it didn't come through the video.
Move forward 1 to row 3, then pause. Then over 1, then pause. Over 1, then pause. And a long pause. And then over 1, 2, 3, forward over.
Okay, so forward 1. Was there a pause after forward 1, or is it just forward 1 over 1?
No, it's forward 1, then pause.
Okay, cool.
And then over 1, then pause. And then over 1, then pause, then forward over. That's the third pause before you go forward or blue is a long pause.
Okay. I just want to... It doesn't... What you just said doesn't sound like what I wrote in. So can you go over that again?
Okay, so we're going to do don't move. We're going to go forward 1, and then pause. Over 1, then pause. Over 1, then pause, and a long pause. And then over 1, 2, 3, forward over.
Okay, great. I missed a 1 that first time. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay. You can just cycle in and we'll check that again. Cycling out, get ready. Go forward 1. Pause. Over 1. And pause. Over 1. And pause. And long pause. Then over 4. Through it. Do not pass me. Perfect. Stay in 50 minutes. There you are. That's the last blow to work with. 4.5 at the end.
So I always do this in Winter Wolf if I'm on a druid, so I can use Snow Slide if I need to jump over a tile or two.
You have Snow Slide on that same red.
Sure do, bud.
It's going to be 2 then end. 2 then end.
Okay.
I'll go stand over 2.
Ready.
Just let him cycle out. Cycling out there, ready. Come over 2. Pause, face the end, go the end.
Great job, dude. You gotta break this sarcophagus to complete every puzzle. Sit tight, folks. I need to explain to Druid how the second part works. Druid, can you hear me okay? Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is, well, during the second part, the Abbot's got some tricks that he does. One of them, actually, I should have told you that in the first part he can do telekinesis. This isn't really one of his special moves, but he can throw you out into the water. And the water is like death water. It ticks for like 200 damage. So, and it's like lava, so if you're jumping through it, it ticks damage every time you hit the surface. So you swim back as fast as possible, exactly, just like Lord of Blades. So he can do that in this part too. But his special moves, it's very important that you know what these are, and there's a couple of them that are very critical. The first thing he does is he can disjunct your gear. And every time he does one of his special moves, he says over his head, like when he disjuncts your gear, he says, "Let us see how you play without your toys." And he just makes some of your gear non-functional. Usually no big deal, but if he gets like your striding or jumping item, it can be problematic. The second thing he does is he summons invisible creatures, and he says, well, the DM says, an ominous breeze, something or other.
you can't see.
And he says what you can't see, right? Thank you. I'd forgotten what he said. And they're not that strong, so firewalls, blade barriers, any kind of AoE damaging spells usually takes care of them just fine. So those first two, not a big deal. The third thing he does is he can encase you in like a giant boulder. True Seeing will not help. But like I said, they don't do a lot of damage. It's just weeps or something. The third thing he does, he can encase you in a giant boulder, and he says engulf and encase. And the only way to get somebody out of that is by throwing the rocks from the Roid puzzle at them. And make sure you don't have the Abbot still targeted when you're doing that. Because it'll look like it's hitting the boulder, but it will not register. You need to make sure you have like nothing targeted or yourself targeted. So if you get encased, you should type in or call it out, Druid encased. And if you can do a direction, that would be great, like Druid encased in the north or in the center or something, so people don't have to look around for you. And the fourth thing he does, and this is the real critical one, this is what causes a lot of pugs to wipe. It's when he does his Inferno move, and he says, I call Inferno, and he becomes shrouded in flames, and a few seconds later the entire platform will go up in like a giant firewall. Okay? When that happens, everybody will call Inferno, and we will all run to the north of the platform, and we're going to use one of the ice ball wands from the ice puzzle to cast a little ice ball island into the water, and we're all going to jump on that. It's a safe spot from the Inferno. That little island only lasts about 10 seconds, so that'll give you an idea how long we'll be out there before we call to jump back up. You can jump into the tail end of the Inferno, it won't hurt you, but if you're there when it starts, it will. And it acts as a curse, so you're going to keep ticking spell point and hit point damage unless you drink a curse pot. If you get hit by the Inferno, drink a curse pot. So we're just going to beat the Abbot down now, and then that's going to be it. So we're going to send in a spotter. Don't go in yet, spotter. But the spotter is going to wait for the Abbot to do one of his special moves, because he can only do his special moves like once every 10 or 15 seconds. So he waits for him to do one, and then he knows that it's safe, and he'll call everybody in as long as it wasn't the Inferno. If it's the Inferno, you wait until after the Inferno. And Anaximus, can you pass me a wand in the north when it's time?
Got it.
Cool, bro, thank you. And can we get a spotter, please?
I'll do.
Thank you. Whenever you're ready, Bam.
I'm engaged.
Everybody in.
Can I have energy boost for the middle?
I have the wand, thank you. So this is Inferno.
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 You want to make sure that you don't have anything else targeted, otherwise you can screw up the targeting. This is a great time to throw a couple quick buffs, haste, rage, maybe a bard song or two, because everybody's together. Back up.
Everybody up?
One of the differences the way I run my abbots versus some of the pugs is that I like to have one person dedicated as the wander. Just waiting here and doing nothing else but waiting here for the Inferno. Because if there's not somebody ready or there's any kind of problems with getting that ice platform out there,
I'm getting karate procs on these boulders.
it can cause a wipe.
Encased on the Abbot.
And since, everybody's, epic levels now, you don't need the extra DPS. One person can sit out, or, you can even cast from here. If you're a druid, you can use your fire seeds, or even your fire wall. The difference between the druid firewall and the arcane firewall, see, the abbot's immune to 4th level and lower spells. He's got the mantle of invulnerability. But the druid firewall is a 5th level spell, where the arcane one is a 4th level spell.
Change the case. In the north behind the altar.
Now, if, see, he says what you can't see above his head, that means he's summoning invisible creatures. The Abbot's DR is bludgeoning and magic. Inferno.
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 Just put that wand on your hotbar and then click on it on your hotbar to shoot it.
Everybody up?
Back up. So if you didn't have somebody at the north end and everybody's there DPSing the Abbot and he calls Inferno when he's in the south, that's a long ways to run to get to the north. And, you know, somebody's too slow, boom, you get hit by an Inferno. If you do get hit by an Inferno, like I said, make sure you drink Accursed pot. Also, you can absorb the Inferno by using like your pale, any kind of spell absorption, your Pale Lavender Ioun Stone, your Mantle the World Shaper, and so on. Inferno. Just stay on them, guys. Great job. He was so close to the end that I just told everybody to stay on him instead of going through another iteration of jumping on the platform. Go ahead and use the shrine, folks. There you go. Jarud, you can do the honors since it's your first time. Congrats on your first Abbot, buddy. Really nice, smooth run, everybody. Thanks for coming. This is going to be it for tonight's Tuesday night Abbot Fest, but there will be more next week. Oh, congrats. 3 quivers tonight. That's crazy. And a Staff of Petitioner.
Another one?
Another bow. That's phenomenal. My seal's going to be up for roll, though.
Really nice stuff. I'm gonna do another wicked dash too, so it's kind of